Hello, I'm V. Thanks for being here. So what I wanted to do today was actually explain a little bit about the maker process and what we're doing here on the screen. Right now I'm a little manic, so with my what they would call disease or mental disability or whatever, I have bipolar. I don't know if it's one or two, and I think there's different types, as well as borderline personality disorder. So what that means is I'm just really f***ed up, but that's okay, because everybody's a little f***ed up inside. So what we got here today is I have a couple of homemade molds that I made. As you can see, there's this little robot. I also have this mold that's coming up into view here. This one is actually the little ice cream truck shaker that I've been wanting to make for a while. I've been out of resin for a bit and I have to order it online and it takes time, and you know how people feel about time. So you know my stance on that. So I'm going to go ahead and I've got to scale out. I've already measured part 1. We're looking to measure part 2. You want to make sure that these measurements are exact. And I know that a lot of people actually measure them out in 2 different cups and then pour them into one. I just measure it out on scale, and I feel like I'm getting everything that I need to in this 1 cup here. So once I reach that, I believe it's 4 grams. So 2 grams of each part A and part B. And that's going to give us what we want, which is going to be our mixture that will eventually harden really, really, really fast. So we're going to go ahead and mix that up. Make sure that we're not spilling it anywhere else, because let me tell you, it's been places before that it shouldn't. So mix, 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 mix. A little more mixing. And we should be done now. Super fast mixing. All right, that looks good. Let's start pouring. I'm going to go ahead and get this first shaker mold because this is the one that I really wanted it to come out really well. So this is going to be the prime time. Do you hear the tippy taps from that stupid dog behind me? This is going to be the prime time for me to do this one. Is going to be first to make sure that none of the bubbles show up. And I'm okay with bubbles. I actually like them. I think it builds character in every piece that you make. And I'm going to go ahead and start the little robot mold here. As you can see, we're just going to fill him up all the way. And I like to make sure, since this stuff kind of cures, and I don't think it expands very much, so I want it to expand a little bit more to kind of give it a little dome over. So I'll go ahead and fill these up to a little bit over the rim, just not too much, because you want you just don't want that to happen. And with the last of this, I'm going to go ahead and you'll see how it's gotten real slow and it almost doesn't want to come out. So I got to be quick about this, but I've still got some in there. I want to make sure that I do this whole waste not, want not thing. So we got to make sure that it is getting used properly. And by properly, I mean all of it. So what I'm going to do here is I filled up a little teddy bear mold, a little 3D. I can make a little pendant, or I can paint it. I can do so many little things with it. And then you'll notice that I do have a little bit left in the kind of bowl thing. I went over each piece to make sure that they were properly covered. And then I just poured out the rest of it in a mold that I didn't get to. It's a little too big, and I realized that I wanted to use regular, just hardening resin that takes a while to cure. I didn't want to use UV resin in this other mold. So we're going to go ahead and see how this turns out. I hope you're enjoying this very soothing music, because it's been fun to put together this little video today for everybody. You'd be amazed to know that it actually took me 2 tries to get this. I had actually uploaded the video, and turns out that I was listening to some music in the background. Maybe some NSYNC, maybe some Regina Spektor, and I got copyright noticed. So I immediately just pulled it down and decided to do this video, which is more of like an explainer video of what's exactly going on here. And what exactly is going on here, it would be me being impatient and wanting to pull these things out, which happens to be, I believe, everybody's favorite part of using resin is the unmolding process. The unmolding process, blah, blah, blah. This unmolding process, you'll see how I speed up out of nowhere. It's taking me like so much to hold back. But the unmolding process is actually the funnest part because you've actually seen what's gone into the mold, but you don't really know if it's coming out that same way. And it could be complete stuff. It could come out really well. But all this is going to do is time is going to tell. And for this one, it needs a little bit more time. So moving on, we're going to get to that shaker mold, which again, you'll see my impatience is getting to me. But we'll just go ahead and pry up the little sides a little bit. See how this goes. All right, everything's pulling off pretty clean. Oh, no, oh, yep, there we go. So everything's pulling off pretty clean. And let me tell you, I'm so excited. That hand at the bottom there, it's all messed up right now. It's still just, this is actually the video that messed up my hand a little bit more. I was so excited that I didn't know that I was actually opening up my hand too much, that it was kind of splitting open the cut even more. And if you haven't seen that video, that's actually on my channel. It's the box cutter incident. I had a craft-related accident. It was pretty terrible. And I've been pretty handicapped for about a month so far. It's been the worst craft-related accident I've ever had. So, yeah. We've got our little shaker here. Huzzah. And now it's got a back part, and it's ready to be filled. Go ahead and demold a few more items before I cut off. As you can see, I'm not even paying attention to one of these monitors. I'm really excited about this. This is my little homemade robot mold that I made here. And so homemade that a little piece of the part of the mold that I had been chipping away at the top is actually stuck in his little foot. So I'm actually debating on whether to sand him down and then make another mold out of him, just to kind of get a cleaner look, or if I just leave him as is and let him be his normal robot, kind of homemade looking self. Let me know in the comments. Here are the paws that I actually overfilled. It's kind of good because it did give them that dome feeling, but then it means that I had to actually do more work here. So doing the work is kind of what's got to happen while it's in the stage of slightly bendy, but not too bendy to be kind of touched. That doesn't make sense. Basically, it won't break if I go ahead and snip at corners and stuff like that. If it was too hard, it would just kind of crack, and I've had pieces crack on me before. Once you get to this point and a piece is finished and you think it's just ready and you see just that one little corner and you're just like, I really want it to be perfect, and you realize that perfection does not mean beauty, but you try anyways. And then what happens? What, in pray tell, is going to happen? It cracks on you. And it'll crack in the most disastrous way possible where you can't even fix it. So I've learned to let bygones be bygones and just let it be as it should. If I do get it in that state while it's in the rubbery stage, I'll go ahead and give it a clip snip. But a lot of my pieces, they're not like super sanded. They're not like manufactured. I hope you liked the video. Bye.